systems go. Clear for liftoff. All systems go. Clear for liftoff.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the final leg of the Florida swing. We have the Valspar Championship coming from Palm Harbor, Florida. I know we do have a bonus Florida event coming in a few weeks with the Miami Championship, I believe it's called, down at Doral. But this is usually the end of the Florida spring. We head to the Tampa area after the Players, after the Arnold Palmer, to have a nice, fun week of Florida golf to close out our love for Florida golf. Although this golf course is a little bit different than what we see at Bay Hill, not even a little bit, kind of a lot different than what we see at Bay Hill, PGA National, TPC Sawgrass. It's because there's a lot more trees, there's a lot less water, and it's just a different vibe of the Florida golf. And even though we're not more north, we're just more west. It's just a weird little golf course. Personally, it's not my favorite. It's probably one of my least favorite golf courses on tour to go to. I talked about how TPC Sawgrass is my favorite. I just love that place more than anything. And I will be there this week. I will be at Innisbrook tomorrow. So definitely drop your comments, comments on the Twitter thread, drop your comments on the Boots post once it gets up, and let me know who you need to see in my Boots day at Innisbrook tomorrow. So yeah, you guys know the deal. I'm getting out there to these events for you. Gonna get eyes on as many golfers as you need me to see. And as always, just take it with a grain of salt, just like any stat, any strokes gain, any narrative or thread. It's all just pieces of information. Nothing is perfect. Boots on the ground is just a way to get different, to see something that you may not have seen before you went into the week. So yeah, I will be there this week. I'm excited to get over there. I'm traveling Monday night to be in Tampa or be in Palm Harbor during the day on Tuesday. Probably like a 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. type Boots, get a few hours out there, see as many golfers as possible, and hopefully lead you guys on to the winner. I know some people had a nice little Players week. Hopefully you faded that Colin Morikawa. I did not know he was going to withdraw, but I said he was the only chalk that I think was a clear fade at the Players Championship last week, and it worked out well for me. So hopefully you had a good week. Got on Cam, got on who else was up there? Xander, and I was wrong about Fitz in the Boots report. I loved him on Monday, and then I gave him a tough Boots report. I didn't like what I saw, but like as always, it's not always going to be right. It's not always going to be wrong, but when it's right or wrong, I'm going to highlight what happened. So let's get into Palm Harbor. Let's get into Valspar. Let's talk a little bit. Here's the thread. Go over to my Twitter at Matt_Gannon. Give me a follow and take a look at this, but I will read through it. And before I made this thread, I just had to write. Obviously, the Valspar is chaos, and there's events where Peter Malnati wins over Cam Young. That was before Cam was winning the. I made this thread probably like noontime on Sunday, and Cam Young was 4 strokes lead. Ludwig had a massive lead. I did not know that Cam Young would be the defending player or the Players Championship when I made this thread. Just thought about Cam Young losing to this event to Peter Malnati on AT&T a few years back. So here's some stats, some stuff to pull on from Innisbrook, from the Valspar Championship. So here are the recent winners: Victor Hovland, Peter Malnati, Sam Burns won twice, Taylor Moore, Red State, Paul Casey won twice. Very different players, but there's a few key stats that really lead into incoming form for this week. Before we get into that, course conditions will be massive this week, and that's gonna be probably one of the biggest moments for Boots this week. I'm gonna see the players, but the course is gonna be huge this week because we've seen weeks where super dry condition lets a flatter ball fight roll out. Like think Peter Manali. Peter Manali is not winning this event in soft, dry conditions. If it's soft, the distance bias returns. We have, I'll get to the weather, but we have massive rain today. The rest of the week looks okay. So tune in to the site. The link is right here. Use code BOOTS to get that weather report, which will be huge. But until we get to that info, incoming spike form has been key. So a lot of people are asking, what is spike form? It does say it right here. So this is +4 strokes gained in a single category in a given week, not a given round, +4 in a given week. So out of the last 7 winners, they've spiked. There's been 9 spike putting performances out of those 7 winners. Approach, 9 spikes as well. Off the tee, 4 spikes. Around the green, 1 spikes. And these are the amount of times that the winners have done that spike. So at least everyone has spiked at least once. Everyone has spiked at least once on approach. The off the tee 5 and the around the green 1. So what that says, approach and putting. Every single winner showed a spike approach form and spike putting form coming in. Even Peter Malnati, who is not the greatest approach player, had a spike at PGA National, spike putting at Pebble Beach. Even Paul Casey. Paul Casey is an elite ball striker who had a great putting week coming in. Sam Burns is an elite putter, but showed enough iron spikes. So we're looking for a guy to be able to spike in the putting category and the approach category coming into the week at least once in their last 10 starts. So the putting side has carried more weight over the last few years. Burns, Moore, Malnati, even Victor Hovland combined have gained over 35 strokes putting over the last 4 or 5 tournaments. That is just a ton of putting to success. Victor, I think, gained 7 strokes putting last year in his win at Innisbrook. So as long as the players can clear these approach and putting buckets, we look to comp courses, but it's a really huge incoming form bucket. Every Valspar winner since 2014 has had a solid result at Pebble, Harbortown, Riviera, Sedgefield, and Country Club of Jackson outside of Victor Hovland. It's rare to see these many shared success venues in one for one piece of comp course in a decade of winter. That's a lot of data. So here's some of the overlap. Pebble, every winner had a T16 or better. Harbortown, every winner T22 or better. Riviera, every winner T21 or better. Sedgefield, every winner T20 or better. So if you can do it at one point in your career, you could definitely do it at Innisbrook. Even better, they've also shown some incoming form that given year. Malnati was T14 at Pebble, T9 at PGA National before he won. Moore, T15 at Pebble Beach. Sam Burns, he won at Country Club of Jackson before he won here. Paul Casey, runner-up at Pebble before he won here. Jordan Spieth, 4th at Riviera before he won here. So all of these comp courses, even better, looking at the comp courses in the given year, if you could do it at one of these courses, that helps your chances tremendously. So here's just a TLDR, what you're looking for: spike approach upside, spike putting upside, success on these comp courses, and be able to adapt depending on the course firmness, which I will report back on Wednesday. The Boots show will be Wednesday, so keep note on that. Here's a little bit more, and as always, the tools and stuff will be at chippination.com. The thread, as always, from Vincerix Golf. Use code BOOTS, use code Vincerix to get us free for a month, get us free for a week. Sorry, not for a month, get us free for a week, and then join the team, hopefully cash. So here's some of the recent winners, some of the recent winning scores. Last year, Victor Hovland won at -11, Peter Malnati won at -12, Sam Burns won at 17 under twice in a row, and Taylor Moore won at 10 under. As you can see from these scores, even the ones further down that I'm not reading, these are not easy scoring conditions. Innisbrook is a tough course, thick rough, longer, heavy ball striking is needed. There's a lot of room to make mistakes, and that doesn't really come from necessarily water balls. It's a lot of just hard golf holes, long, bendy golf holes that if you're out of position, you're chipping out, or you're just getting boned around the green sometimes. It is not an easy golf course, and the conditions will dictate that. So let's look at the weather for the week, and bring my screen back up. Looking at the weather, whoa, I hate when this windy site makes me retype it because it doesn't fit the screen. So we got Innisbrook. Here we go. 1 hour forecast. Look what we got. Look what we're dealing with today. Today we have a ton of rain. Thankfully, I didn't go over today because I would have got zero work done. There would have been nobody on the course, and it would have been just a waste of a day. So Tuesday is where I will be back. This is the forecast that we will be dealing with tomorrow. 13 mile an hour winds with up to 30 mile an hour gust about. Not that that matters for the week, but it could basically dry the golf course out quicker with that Monday rain. Wednesday, not as windy, but similar. Wind can dry it out. Then we get to Thursday, which the tournament starts. Not too windy, 8 to 9 miles an hour with 20 miles an hour gust all day. Looks like it may be a little bit easier in the morning, but nothing crazy, at least right now, to write home about. And then Friday, we get some more benign conditions, 7 to 11 miles an hour with 12 to 20 mile an hour gust. Nothing crazy. So it looks like the golf course is going to be dry all week after this Monday. But this is the only question that we have. How dry will it be? It is Monday and it's raining from noon to 7 p.m. about with some spotty showers. It doesn't look like more than a half inch total. So it shouldn't be too wet. But hopefully this Tuesday wind, Tuesday sun dries it out, which I will be able to tell you tomorrow. Let's look at the DraftKings. Let's look at some contest selection, lobby, some contests that I want to take a look at that I think are really, really interesting for the given week. If you want to put in a lot of money, if you want to put in a little money, if you want to put in a little money, this $30K $5 entry is a good contest in my opinion. First place wins $3K, 10th place wins $300. With a single entry, if you have a 6-6, you have a massive advantage on the field. We put one entry into the $25 Millionaire Maker last week, and we had a 6-6 with the winner, actually. And I only cashed for like $2,000. I mean, 2,000th place, something stupid like that. It was like no money. That's just how hard DFS is. But if you're in an event with only 7,100 people in it and you have a 6-6, then you can really get right. And it's a nice little payout structure as well. Another cheap contest is this $40K Albatross, which I absolutely love the payout structure as well. 4K up top with only 3,900 people in it, and 10th place gets 10% of that with $400. That's the structure that we are always looking for, and these are the two contests. If I want to put a little money in, that's what I am going to do. Let's take a look at the DFS board. We could see that Xander Schauffele leads the way at 10,900, Victor Hovland 10-4, Akshay Bhatia 10 flat. And we have a really, really nice field. Matt Fitzpatrick, Jacob Bridgman, Justin Thomas, Patrick Cantlay, Jordan Spieth, Ben Griffin, Brooks Koepka, Corey Connors. Like, I did not think we'd have this many good golfers in the Valspar Championship field. Truthfully, I really did not. And I want to take a look at Xander Schauffele, who is a player who obviously leads the field. He's 10,900, and this is his first all-green Xander week since the last time he top 10. I mentioned last week in the Boots Report that Xander Schauffele is as close as I've seen him. I don't think he's all the way there yet. And I think that checks out. That T3 or that solo third, if he was all the way there, I believe he wins this golf tournament last week. And the putter was really bad to start the week. Or it wasn't good. He just had so many chances on round one and he just didn't make anything. But the putter kind of wrote the ship and he gained in all four categories. He gained 2 strokes off the tee, 7.4 strokes on approach, good for nearly 10 strokes ball striking. And that's the Xander we are looking for. By zero means is he too expensive to start your lineups. Remember what he did at this event last year. T12, T5, T12. And this was a T12, which he drove the ball horribly. And this was like one of his first starts after an injury. And he played so well here last year. I think he was like 20-1 last year to start this event. And now he's the favorite in the DraftKings leaderboard. He's the favorite in the odds board as well. So I think it's a great way to start your lineups. But another guy I want to highlight in this DFS leaderboard is Wyndham Clark at $8,000. Wyndham Clark is coming into this event off of a made cut, no real great starts, but no missed cuts since Diamante in November. He's not playing great by any means, but the iron play is really rounding into form. Wyndham Clark losing 2 strokes off the tee is not outlandish, but at a golf course with less water, I think there's a less of a path for Wyndham Clark to lose so many strokes off the tee. He's been working with new drivers, and he said on the Kay Adams show that he really likes the driver that he found now. So I'm going to trust his word. I think he'll right the ship off the tee really well. And this is really solid approach for him. The putter is kind of a mess, but looking at his course history here at the Wyndham Championship, he's made 3 out of 4 cuts, and he finished 5th in 2023. with some decent putting in that last start. He gained strokes across the board. Is Wyndham Clark just going to gain strokes putting magically? I can't say that he will, but I don't think that there's a world where he can't figure it out on the green. So Wyndham Clark, I don't mind the ball striking. I love the price at 8K. I love the ceiling that he presents at 8K. So he's a golfer that I'm going to be looking for on that DFS leaderboard. Taking a look at the betting board, let's refresh it for a second. And we see, similar to what we saw on the DFS board. Oh, we're in basketball. We are in basketball, of course. Similar to what we see on the DraftKings leaderboard. Xander Schauffele, Victor Hovland, Matt Fitzpatrick. That is a little different because Victor Hovland is he's a second place golfer. Sorry, I thought he was a little bit towards the bottom. I'm not sure why I thought that. I expect Matt Fitzpatrick to get so much love at $9,800. I expect Matt Fitzpatrick to get so much love at the third highest priced golfer on the odds board. But taking a look at this DraftKings board, the first name that really catches my eye is down here around 37-1. You could probably get a better number, and that's Sahith Theegala. Sahith Theegala is coming in with the best form since he's been a winner on tour. He has not missed a cut since the RSM Classic in November, and he's got how many T10s in that stretch? 1, 2, 3 T10s in that little stretch. The iron play is really trending in the right direction. I'm not worried about the driver too much around at Innisbrook versus I am around Sawgrass. And looking at his course history here, he's got a T7 back in 2022, T36 back last year, and his form is way better around this time of year than it was last time of year. So Sahith Theegala at 37-1, 40-1, probably you can get him, is a really good candidate in my opinion. So those are some golfers that I am looking for in terms of DFS, even betting. But let's talk about some tools. How are you going to use this information? How are you going to build a player pool? You're going to go over to the site. You're going to click PGA projections. And once these are all, obviously, we see Scotty Scheffler, Rory McIlroy here. They are not in the field. But once these are loaded in, and I could promise you at Chip It Nation, we are not going to rush the projections at all. We are going to wait, see what the environment does, see what people are talking about, and see where the ownership is going to go. But once they are up, you're going to go over the projections, PGA projections, and sort by projection, ceiling, ownership, whatever you want to do to build a player pool. You're going to go over here to the stone. This is the showdown stone, but you guys get the idea. The high leverage will be highlighted. The pivots will be highlighted. The stats will be highlighted. Their ceiling, their floor, their tee times, they will all be updated on the stone. It's a one-stop shop for everything you need to know in order to build a player pool. It is the sweatiest, try-hard most tool in this industry, but you need to be that player in order to cash big. So use the showdown tool. And then finally, once you have your player pool, what you're going to want to do is go to SaberSim. It's integrated with the site. And then from there, what I like to do is check off X amount of golfers, check off my player pool, hit this little import button right here. You're going to upload your entries, and that's going to give you a little link to upload your current DraftKings. So you're going to go to DraftKings. What you're going to do is you're going to go to DraftKings. You're going to log on the contest that you want. You're going to enter the contest that you want. And once you have, I'm explaining this because people have asked. Once you have the contest that you want, say you want to enter 5 lineups, you reserve the contest, 5 lineups. Then you go over to SaberSim. You click this little button right here. This little button right here. It's going to download your contest into SaberSim so it knows what you're working with. You're going to build a player pool. Say I want Xander, bang, bang, bang. I cross off all the players that I want to work with. Say it's 20 players. And then from there, what I like to do is set rules. For example, I want to stack 3 players with 1 player. I want to stack AM with PM. I want to do whatever I want. You can make your own rules by going to add a new rule, manual, and you can edit players. You want to use at least one of these players in every lineup. You want to use exactly one of these players in every lineup. Whatever you want to do, whatever you think you find an edge, get different, make a rule. And then from here, you're going to go over here. You're going to hit build lineup. So first you're going to go like this. And I like to hit this little arrow that comes up right here to build a lineup group with the lineups that have already been imported. You'll see it come over right here. And then you're going to build your lineups. You can have it build 250 lineups. It knows to only build the top 5 lineups from because I'm using the 5 lineup example. You're going to hit build lineups. And then from there, you're going to download them with this button. Once they're all built, this little button right here, download file for DraftKings. It's going to bring you over to DraftKings. You're going to enter it in, and then bang, you don't have to do no other work. Your lineups will be automatically entered into DraftKings. So use code BOOTS. You'll get a free week of Boots this week, and you get free access to this entire site. and be sure to fly the flag. You're going to hit logos. You're going to go over to the site, hit logos, put one of these logos in your DFS lineups. And then if you win, I thought we were close to getting $1 million winner this week. I saw a few Ship It Nations logos flying in the $1 million contest. You'll get a free Rolex. I'm not even kidding. You'll get a free Rolex if you do that. We've had 4 $1 million winners join our site or be on our site using all the tools that I'm showing you as well. So fly the flag. If you win any sort of contest, you will get rewarded. So all you got to do is fly the flag, go over and grab a package, 10% off, code BOOTS. Next thing I want to talk about is a chalky guy and a potential pivot. The chalky guy of the week for me is going to be Viktor Hovland. I know I talked about him at the top of the show. He's 10-4 this week. He obviously played decent at Sawgrass last week. He obviously won this event last year. But this was kind of an anomaly T13 for Viktor Hovland. He gained 7.5 strokes around the green. If you know one thing about Viktor Hovland, he's not the best around the green player. And that was, in fact, Viktor Hovland's best around the green week of his career. This is a multi-time PGA Tour winner, a high-level talent, a Ryder Cupper, and he just posted the best around the green week of his career. He's not going to do it again next week, and he actually lost strokes ball striking. He lost 0.5 strokes ball striking, and it was all around the green that led Viktor Hovland to success. I had him on a outright bet last week, and I was kind of feeling nice, but it was all around the green that led Viktor to success. So as his second highest priced golfer, I do not want him relying on the around the green game. This is a great golf course for him. Obviously, he's won here before, but I'd way rather go to Xander up top than go down a little bit to Viktor. And if people are going to try to save some money and go to Viktor, I think they could be in for a mistake this week. A potential pivot that I want to talk about this week is Patrick Cantlay at $9,400. I do not think anybody is going to play Patrick Cantlay this week. Let's see where he's priced. $9,400 between Justin Thomas off of a great week, behind Spieth, who made the cut and flashed a little bit, and if they're going up here, they're not going to just pick Patrick Cantlay as their second guy in the lineup. So Patrick Cantlay has some decent course history here. He's finished second here in 2017, missed the cut in 2013, but that second place with 10 strokes ball striking shows me not enough. And then they're going to look at the stats. He lost 2 strokes on approach in 3 straight weeks. Is it concerning? Yeah. But Patrick Cantlay is a great iron player. The driver is in great form right now. I expect him to get a ton of looks. And I know that no one's going to play Patrick Cantlay. And when no one's playing Patrick Cantlay, I expect him to make a cut and at worst finish T17. Is that going to work for you at $9,400? It depends on the contest. It really does. But I love him at the ownership. I love the ceiling that he presents. And call me a Patrick Cantlay truther. Call me a loser for trying to chase Patrick Cantlay. We've got him in 1 or 2 rounds last week, and it wasn't the end of the world. He didn't have the best week, but it was whatever. So Patrick Cantlay is a nice little pivot, in my opinion, this week for sure. So as always, we like to talk about the model, like to talk about the numbers that I see, but during a Boots week, I'm going to wait till I see the golf course. So the model talk will come on Wednesday. The model talk will come after I see the golf course, after I run everything down and get a nice idea of what I'm looking for. But on Monday, I like to do the one golfer that I am playing. Who is a golfer that I'm either betting or playing in DFS? That is Nicolai Højgaard at $8,900. It's kind of a hefty price, and he's been a trendy golfer the last few weeks in Florida. But looking at his recent ball striking, it's trending in the right direction. Look at how much green Nicolai has been posting. Like, it's not even just the ball striking. It's all the categories. I do not care that he lost 5 strokes off the tee at TPC Sawgrass. That is not a great driver setup for Nicolai. Innisbrook is a much better setup for Nicolai, in my opinion, even though he missed the cut last year. His form coming into this year is far better than it was last year. And I don't think anyone's really going to love him at $8,900 because he hasn't really paid off too much so far this year outside of that backdoor at the Cognizant. So Nicolai is the one golfer that I am on. As always, the song of the day for the week. We have to keep the song of the day going because we have a playlist for it and everything. Mayday by Not Enough Space. I am wearing a Not Enough Space shirt, so Not Enough Space is the song of the day. And then as always, we will have boots on the ground. Not as always, but this is the last week of the Florida Swing. I will be out there tomorrow. You guys know what the deal is. And ask me questions. I'm going to try to get out there and see as many golfers as I can, let you know what they're doing, let you know who's looking good, who's looking bad. And yeah, so come join us. Use that code BOOTS, get a free week on the site, and keep cashing. I know a lot of guys in the Discord are having great weeks after great weeks. So hopefully that could be you next week. As always, let's ship it, and I'll catch you guys on Wednesday for the Boot Show.